All right. All right. Welcome to yet another enlightening webinar brought to you by ICHA Support Foundation in collaboration with Career Naksha. So, at ICHAS, we are committed to empowering coaches and mental health practitioners to contribute to a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling world. We achieve this by providing comprehensive step by step trainings that equips them with advanced coaching and therapeutic skills. This, in turn, enables them to better serve their clients while achieving their professional and personal aspirations. This webinar is proudly brought to you by ICHA Support Foundation, an integral non-profit branch of ICHAS, where the core mission of ICHA Support Foundation revolves around promoting mental health care, which is creating awareness and providing support and offering education. We firmly believe that enhancing public awareness, educating communities, and providing individuals with the right tools, we can foster optimal mental health for all. iChas has initiated the Visit MHP Challenge, an inspiring initiative by mental health practitioners, where encouraging individuals to seek help proactively before it becomes too late, and also acting as a peer learning and a support community for practicing psychologists and psychology students in India, whereby we hold regular case discussion sessions second Tuesday of every month to help psychologists and psychology students to develop the problem solving and analytical skills. Also, under the Visit MHP initiative, we also have additional learning resources like worksheets, pre recorded courses, and more. Every month, we host webinars and workshops on various psychology related topics. So, keep an eye on our social media channels for announcement about the upcoming webinars and workshops. Today's webinar is made possible through our partnership with Career Naksha, our valued collaborator in the field of career counseling. So, joining us today as our guest from Career Naksha is Prasanna ma'am, our esteemed guest who will provide valuable insight on skill and attitude required for the future work. So, thank you for joining us on this journey of knowledge and growth. We hope you will find this webinar both enriching and enlightening. I would like to invite Prasanna ma'am to please give a short introduction about herself and please start the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me, iChars, as well as Career Naksha. Thank you for this opportunity. I am a leadership coach in the field of developing leadership, especially for women, students, and professionals. And my company called Evaluations was founded in 2020, and I have been working with various professionals mainly, and I would like to get into working with students as well. And prior to that, I was working in multiple IT companies. I have about 30 plus years of experience in the IT companies. So that's about me. So today I wanted to talk about the skills and attitudes. So whenever we are ready, we can continue to talk about that. Should I continue?
We are
Can I
good to
go
go.
ahead
You can
and
share your. Yes.
okay? So I just want to give an introduction about the topic that I am going to talk about. And as I was working in multiple companies, what I noticed was that several people, they have their own competencies, mostly technical skills, but some of them lacked other skills which are very, very important for a working professional. And I started thinking about, why these skills are lacking in people. And a lot of companies also invest in through their learning and development departments. They teach or they teach these skills to the employees. But however, sometimes it is very difficult for people to learn those skills, especially the life skills like communication or critical thinking, etc., because they have not been used to that kind of um, thinking. They are not used to those skills which were not developed either in college when they were studying, or in schools. So my interest was to reach out to those at that level, even before people got into workspace, and be able to provide the right kind of skills so that they become good employees in organizations. They work well with people, etc. Then I further thought about it, and I said it's too late. Even if we go into colleges, it is too late. We should look at this as something that schools should be doing. And when we looked at schools, we did a little bit of survey, and we found that schools were not teaching these skills at all. There's a lot of training that is given in academics, but not so much about the real life skills that are required for students to transition into productive adults. That is lacking in schools. So a lot of academics are taught about how to do math or how to do science or social studies, etc. And both schools and parents focus on giving these and making sure that the students are performing well in these skill sets. But unfortunately, there's a lot more that children have to learn, especially because of the kind of world that they will be getting into. Right now, if you look at it, there is a term called VUCA, right? VUCA. VUCA means it's a vulnerable and uncertain. It's uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So it's a VUCA world that we are all living in. Everything is uncertain. We are all vulnerable, and it's a very complex thing. Everything affects everything else, and it's very ambiguous. We don't know which way things can go, and we saw this in the time of pandemic. We saw that. Things got disrupted. The world turned upside down, and we were not ready for it. So a lot of things can happen like that, which can disrupt. You can also look at in the context of the wars that are going on, the elections that are happening. So a lot of it is very, very complex and very ambiguous. So what happens to children in such cases? What happens to the dreams that they have? What happens to the kind of things that they learn? Is it enough, if they learn the academics, or should they learn something more? And you also look at the number of children who are feeling the stress, not only about their education, but also the kind of social media pressures that they have, and the parental pressures that they have. So they are undergoing a lot of stress and anxiety in multiple areas themselves. Are we equipping the children to deal with that? That is the question that, as parents and teachers, we all have to ask. And I think my answer to that is, we are not at all focusing on that. We are not at all spending any time and money on equipping these children to deal with those things. In my presentation today, I just want to share, what is it that we have to teach children when they are in school, before they graduate to maybe 10th or 12th standard, and so that they get prepared for the real world, right? uh, and what are we lacking, and what is it that we are not really teaching? And when they transition to the adult world, or a working space, what is expected of them, and do they have it? If even if you look at this generation of working people, do they have the skills that I'm going to be talking about? So that's one part, looking at what skills are lacking and how to get. The second part is how to get there. Okay, so now I will just share the presentation that I have put here. I will just go directly to the slide. So if you look at this slide, there is emotional and social quotient, which is in the middle, which is like the branches of the tree. The spiritual quotient, which we are not going to be talking about in this presentation, is the roots, and from there, and when we talk about spiritual quotient, we are not talking about religion, etc. This is more about, what is the purpose of your life, how, what is the self awareness that people have in their life. Do they understand who they are essentially, and do they know how to navigate this world? Okay, so that is the spiritual quotient that I'm talking about. It's more about your own purpose, your own mission in life. And then if you also understand the emotional and social quotient of your own mental makeup, then you would get a very good thriving life. That is the depiction of this tree here. So what I'm saying is, physically healthy and emotionally balanced individuals make a more productive, peaceful, and progressive world. So this is the kind of world we want. Unfortunately, we are not living in that kind of a world, and we need to make more and more efforts to make sure that we create these kind of individuals in this world. We create more and more these kind of individuals. So the question we need to ask is, are we equipping our students with this emotional and social intelligence? And I would say, the answer is no. Like I said earlier, we are having a lot of developments in biotechnology, artificial intelligence, climate change is happening. A lot of pandemics, one pandemic has gone, more are expected. There's a lot of media that is, that is changing, and there's a lot of narratives that hit us. So when the children are growing in this kind of environment, do they know how to cope with it? So that's what we need to look at. This What you're looking at on the screen was published by McKinsey company in I think in 2021. If you look at there are 56 skill sets that they found out that are required. And if you look at the four quadrants that you have, almost 80% of them are EQ related. So emotional quotient is very much required in a lot of these skill sets. So again, the question is, there are so many children in for example, in India, 472 million children were impacted. 40 million children from poor families were impacted. Those who were, could afford a laptop, etc., they got their education. But the ones that didn't get, or they couldn't reach out, finish their education, they couldn't finish their schooling properly, what is the kind of confidence they have in order to get into getting jobs, or doing what following their dreams, etc. All of these things get thwarted because we are not there is not enough equipment. One, we are not equipping them from our educational system, and two, they are also not getting enough support from the government agencies. So it's a combination and a complex thing that is happening. But the thing is, can we equip the children to cope with that kind of a situation? It is because we cannot say, oh, the government is not doing enough, oh, the education system is bad, oh, this is not okay, my parents are not okay. That is, that's going to continue. It's not some situation that is going to go away. So we need to find a way to help children to deal with that anxiety, with the depression, with that isolation that they feel. Instead of letting them go in the way of following um, substance abuse, like taking drugs, or spending too much time looking at pornography, or whiling away their time talking on the phone, etc., without having any purpose. These kind of things can happen if children do not know how to cope with what is happening around them. So we need to understand what we need to do as professionals, as psychologists, as psychiatrists, as mental health workers, as teachers, as parents. We all need to understand what is it that how can we help these children. So these in this in on this screen, what you are looking at is the basic skills that children need to have. If you observe any little child, like 2 or 3 years old, if you look at that child, they're very curious. They want to try everything. They want to look at, they want to touch, they want to feel, they want to put something in their mouth. They're very, very curious, and they're very observant. When they like to see something new happening, they're very observant. So these are basic skills that are already available in human beings. What happens is, over a period of time, we make sure those skills are cut down. We tell children, don't touch that, or don't feel that, or don't do that. There's a lot of don't for the children. So their natural passions, or their natural desires of learning, are curtailed because we have a lot of strictures in our society. Some of them are to keep them safe, and they are good, but our tendency is to kind of put children in some kind of cages, so that they behave in the way we want them to behave, right? So a lot of things, like the ones that I am mentioning here, like empathy or resilience, or authenticity, critical thinking, the way children question a lot of things, like, what is this, why is this, etc., critical thinking, all those things we curtail. And we tell them, okay, you learn what is in the textbook, don't ask too many questions. Okay, stop experimenting so much about this and that. Focus on your studies. This is what, all of us as a society, we tell children, and we get them away from their natural wonderful skills that they already have inherently. So what I think is required is that we teach children. How do you teach them to pay attention? This is a very costly thing that has happened to us as human beings. Our attention spans are very, very low. We cannot pay attention to anything for a long period of time. So therefore, our ability to succeed in achieving something is gradually going down. If you look at the younger generation, their attention spans are very, very low. There are many scientific studies that have been conducted on this. Uh, Critical thinking, like I already said, the ability to question and learn and think differently, has been that has been curtailed a lot. Decision making, this is something in the working space. When you look at companies, or when you look at organizations, decision making is one thing that we constantly have to do. But children don't know how to make decisions. They constantly, either make wrong decisions because they are afraid that they'll be judged, or they do not have the right direction to do that, or they are constantly criticized for what they are doing. So decision making is taking a beating as well. So there are many skills here that I think children have to be taught at lower classes, from the time they are in second, third, fourth, fifth standards. We need to teach these skills, how to pay attention, how to observe something, how to be empathetic, how to build resilience. You fail at something, you don't do something right, how do you come back and start all over again. So these kind of skills are not really taught to children. Now, if you go to the adult world, you have to do a lot of these things. You have to communicate, you have to delegate, you have to collaborate, you must have the ability to do conflict management. If you're a leader, you have to be very inspiring, you have to be able to influence your team members, or within the organization, maybe the entire organization. If you're the CEO, you need to be able to build trust within between teams and between you and other individuals. You need to have the ability to listen when others are talking. You need to have service orientation. It shouldn't be all the time it's only me. I should have the big picture outlook. And if I am a leader, I should also look at, how do I transfer my vision to others? How do I communicate that? How do I make sure that my vision is understood by other people? Now, these are, bigger issues and bigger things that come in the adult world. We don't need that for the children. But if you don't teach the skills that I talked about, about empathy, about resilience, about attention, about observation, if children don't learn that very well, then if they come to having to do conflict management, if they have to do collaboration, or if they have to do delegation, they do not do that very well, right? So as a result, what happens is the pressures at work create additional anxiety and stress for people, because there is an expectation that they should do certain things as team members, as co-workers, as peers, as leaders. There is a certain expectation that people should perform at a certain level. And a lot of times you hear things like, these are not some things that you should be learning now, these are not some things that somebody should teach you now. You hear this, and therefore the question is, then where should they have learned that? Where should they have invested in acquiring those skills? And that is the answer to that is, it is before they come into the workspace. Therefore, if you go back and back, from the workspace to the universities and back into the schools, and maybe even before schools, we need to have invested. Somebody should have taught them that. Somewhere they should have learned these skills to be able to transition from being a student to being a productive, contributing adult in the world, right? So these are some of the things that are important. I feel these are the skills that you do need to be able to navigate this world successfully, to have a sense of, to achieve your purpose, to get results, to be able to contribute to make a better world. These skill sets are very, very necessary, and therefore both the investment at when they are children in school, where their mental capacities, their cognitive abilities are developed, in addition to their emotional and social quotients. They have to be developed there. And on top of that foundation, we have to build these other skill sets, right? So, uh, and this slide only depicts how it moves from emotional intelligence skill sets to social intelligence skill sets. And if you don't have the foundational skills, then it's very difficult to develop the social intelligence skill sets. So my point is that the abilities or the skills that are on the left of the screen are the most important. We need to teach children those things, and we need to focus. And unfortunately, we do not have schools really uh, having a curriculum that helps them get to this. Okay. So here the point is, IQ is important, academic excellence is very important, but is that enough for the real world? We need to ask that question. When we look around in this world, when we look at the kind of depression or anxiety, or the sadness and the isolation that so many people are going through, where is that? Why is it happening? We want to recommend people, okay, do yoga or do meditation, or a lot of things that people are learning now. What if we did that before they became adults? What if we taught these things and we focused and we spent time for children, doing these things for children, before they hit stress levels? You teach them how to deal with that. So that's the point that I wanted to make, and I hope uh, we will bring these structures, we will bring these changes into the systems, into the educational systems. My hope and prayer is that more and more teachers and school administrations will realize the importance of this and invest in it, because today the schools are more interested in making sure that they got 100% results in academics. That's the only measure we have. Are they putting out wonderful, productive, almost adults into this world? Is there a measure for that? Today there isn't, and I hope and pray that someday I will live to see where there are additional measures, not just academic excellence results, that that tell that the school has succeeded with the children. So yes, so my company is, Evaluations, looks at innovative ways in which we can help different people. I do a lot of coaching for aspiring leaders, as well as leaders who are already running teams and running organizations. So I encounter these lack of emotional and social quotients in a lot of people. Um, but I hope that I will be able to reach out to, before they come to this, at the school stage. I will be able to reach out to students and be able to help them develop these skills. And as a leadership coach, these skills are not just important for being a good employee, even for having a good life, even having a peaceful sleep at night, even to be able to work well with others, to have good relationships. These skill sets are very important. So I would like to end with that, and say uh, that we have a paradigm shift in looking at what is success for students and children. Thank you very much. I'll stop sharing now. I'll be happy to take any questions if there are.
Right, ma'am. Okay, we are done.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for the very insightful session. Hope to see you in any of the webinars. Thank you so much. I'll
Thank you.
end the live.
Sure.